welcome back to Underrated Movies. I am your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Elton Henry, and today I'm going to talk to you about another film that I believe it's extremely underrated, and it's one of my favorite, included as one of my favorite horror films and one of my favorite found footage films. And this one here is the underrated Apollo 18. And this film, I think, was released back in 2011, and it follows the story of a unclaimed report of Apollo 18 being sent to the moon, one of the lunar moon missions that supposedly was never reported because it was discovered by aliens. So two astronauts that go to the moon, and once they land there, they run into some rock-like aliens that pretty much takes them down. And I remember my experience seeing this film. This film was, I would say, one of the best found footage like horror that I've experienced at the theater. And this is a film with found footage horror. I like that anxiety feel to it because it really feels realistic. Now here, and this one is a little bit different compared to all the other ones. This one is set during the 60s, so the cameras try to imitate the look of the 60s. So it does make it a little bit of a challenge to kind of see what's kind of going on. There is a lot of shaky cam, obviously, it's a found footage horror. But again, this movie dates back to the 60s, so the footage, the look of it, might not be clear. It might be a little sketchy, scratchy. It might be all over hard to kind of really dissect the image you're seeing on screen. Performances are great, and it's actually really interesting that really most of the film you're really focusing on two guys stuck on the moon trying to figure out what's going on, why the government kind of sent them, and it has one of those cliche plot lines where they figured out the government sent them to some isolated location to bring a sample back, and it's a plot device we've seen all before. But for me, I think this one sells it. I feel like it's more done realistically, and I think because of the time and then what they were able to do with making it found footage in that era really sells it. Though it follows the, I guess I would say, trend when you hit like the second act of the film, where since you're focusing on two guys, one of them gets infected with the alien, and you kind of slowly seeing him losing his mind, and you see that before in all other movies, but this one here, I think you really kind of feel that vibe, especially the idea of being isolated one other person, and you slowly see them deteriorate. But though I feel like the way they approached it felt too cliche to other horror films and to other ideas how that was executed. Like the guy gets possessed by an alien, and it's like they're calling me. I gotta do this. You gotta go. You gotta get out of here before it's too late. You know, they run through that. I think that's a little of a safety that they kind of, the filmmaker chose to kind of take. But when they it's submerged in the pure darkness, and I mean, there's part of the moon where you don't see nothing but just dark and shadow. There's a sequence in there where one of the guys gets pulled into one of the craters into the moon, and it's like pure dark, and you see the guy just flashing on the lights to try to see his friend and rescue him, and then all you see is just these rocks just grow just all over the place, and then you slowly start to see the rocks start to come alive, and you see like these spider-like, crab-like alien rocks that just start coming in. Yeah, they're alien rocks. You heard me right. Alien rocks. The anxiety of this film, like I said, really sells you on this. I remember my experience seeing this at the theater, and there was literally like nobody else. There was like maybe one other person, and I actually felt the what's the best way I could put it? I guess the tension of feeling like there's really nobody there and you're like all alone, just isolated, secluded. I got that vibe watching this in the theater. Like, I seriously got that vibe. And if you watch this by yourself and there's nobody around, you literally feel that. Like, I just felt it when I rewatched it. It was outstanding. Now, I mean, the movie plays out like you're any other typical horror found footage. You know how it ends. You know, did the survivors make it? Well, probably not. Did the creature make it? Probably, maybe not. But what really sells this film is the tension and uniqueness of trying something different with the found footage by setting it to a different time, setting it to a different era, doing things different with the camera. Really, the uniqueness of it was experimental, and it took me on board with it. But again, it's a little bit, I guess tough to kind of make out what's happening, especially when it gets a little bit too shaky, and given the time of, that technology back then, you could barely see what's really happening. And this is PG-13. I think this is PG-13. So PG-13 horror. So they do try to sell out with the shakiness a little bit. And actually, this is actually one of the most rare PG-13 horror films that really scares the hell out of you. Like this one is it. If you're looking for, if I have to say, for any PG-13 horror film that really sells it, Apollo 18 is this one. And I can tell you, it's one of the best. As a PG-13 horror film, this film literally scares the crap out of you. Check it out. Let me know in the comment section below. Have you seen Apollo 18? Let me know. It's actually free on YouTube. You can watch it. I might link the film down into the description for you to check it out. And please pass this movie along. I think it's a forgotten, underrated horror film. It should be checked out a lot. Like, it's really, really good. A really good horror film. Please comment below, let me know, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.